And welcome back to Redlands, California, KCAA Radio with your host, Kim Yater. It's Take Your Power Back California, Recall Gavin Newsom. And with us today, we have the very special, I'm so honored, I can't tell you, Mark Meckler, who is a husband, dad, friend, warrior for freedom. Mark is the president of Convention of States Foundation and Convention of States Action COSA, and former CEO of Parler. If you didn't know that they're back online, thank you, Mark Meckler. COSA has over 5 million supporters and volunteers representing every state legislative district in the nation. Mark appears regularly on television, radio, and online discussing the conservative grassroots perspectives on political issues. Before COSA, Mark was the co-founder of the Tea Party Patriots. He left the organization in 2012 to implement this constitutional solution to take power from D.C. and return it to the sovereign citizens of the states. Mark has a BA from SDSU and a law degree from University of Pacific McGeorge School of Law. He practiced law for 2 decades. Mark Meckler, welcome to Take Your Power Back California.
Thanks, Kim. It's really good to be with you.
It is so great to have you here. Now, you are a very busy person. You've got your own radio show coming up in just a bit. The fact that you've taken time out to be here, I just want to honor you. This is near and dear to your heart, the Recall Gavin Newsom initiative. Tell us a little bit about that, Mark.
Yeah, for me, I'm a former Californian. I left almost 3 years ago. It'll be 3 years ago this December. And I left because of Gavin Newsom and people like Gavin Newsom that drove us out of the state. I'm born and raised in Southern California, originally from the San Fernando Valley. Went to school in San Diego, went to law school in Northern California. Figured I'd spend my whole life there. But realized 3 years ago that the government, Gavin Newsom in particular, but the government generally, was making it so difficult for regular Californians to live in the state. There was just time to move my family somewhere else where we could be free from the restrictions putting on average people.
Yeah, I get it. And so, I get that you made the move, but your heart didn't leave this state. You have a very big heart for the state of California, don't you, Mark?
Look, I travel all over the country. I've been in 48 states in the last couple of years. There's no place better. California is the most beautiful place, in my opinion, on earth. It's got the best climate. It's got incredible people. It's got educational institutions. The beauty of California can't be beat anywhere else. So if it were not for government, I would have never even considered leaving California. So, yeah, to me, it breaks my heart what the government has done to California, what Gavin Newsom continues to do to California.
So tell us a little bit more about saying yes to recall Gavin Newsom. Why is this so important? We've got people from both sides. It's not a left, it's not a right, it's not a Republican, it's not a Democrat. Why is it so important for us to take our power back in this area?
I think that what makes it so nonpartisan, in my opinion, is when you have a government that has overreached, specifically an executive that has overreached so severely as Gavin Newsom has, people are just generally naturally repelled by that. People, if you ask them this simple question, who should decide, you or the government, most people, regardless of their party affiliation, will say, me. I should decide for myself and for my family. Gavin Newsom has an entirely different approach to governing. Gavin Newsom thinks he should decide for you and your family. And yet, the other thing that sticks out so much for me is the hypocrisy. In other words, he decides for you and your family, and then he does whatever the heck he darn well pleases, often entirely different from what he's telling you have to do. That kind of hypocrisy and that kind of overreach is just anathema to the American way, regardless of what party you belong to.
What's the impact if this overreach continues? What's the impact if he's not recalled?
Look, I think the impact, I'm a perfect example of it. People will continue to leave. We have some new friends. You and I were recently at a wedding together, and there were some people sitting at our table from San Diego, California, and they're coming next weekend to look at places to live here. This guy's a big builder. He's a moneyed guy. He's looking at removing his wealth, removing his business from California because it's just so hard to live there. And it goes, your last guest said it well, it goes well beyond economics. It goes into medical freedom and freedom to practice your faith as you see fit. So what I see is some of the most productive people in the state are continuing to pull up roots and move to other places. It breaks their heart to do so, but they crave freedom, which is a basic thing that all human beings crave.
Freedom. It is about freedom, isn't it? So we're going to go even further. Take us 2 years out. I really want to get a clear picture here, Mark. 2 years from now, if we don't stand up and say yes to recall Gavin Newsom, where is this state? Where is America? And where is the world?
Well, here's what I worry about California is the restrictions have been so extreme, so draconian, and over time what happens to human beings is they get used to living that way. And so it just gets worse and worse, and folks like Newsom continue to impose their restraints. He believes that he knows better than you how to raise your kids, how to run your business, what your medical decisions should be. And so when we give people the room to believe that way and there is no serious pushback against them, of course, they're human beings. They're going to continue to behave that way, and they're going to continue to push you even further that way. So I would expect 2 years from now, you'll see a California even under further restrictions, with higher taxes, with more regulation, driving even more business out. And I do think that California is a harbinger, at least for the more left-leaning states in the country. And we're going to see what I'm going to see here in Texas. I'm going to see a lot more Californians here in Texas. And I'm happy about that in a sense, because the best kind of Californians, if they can, they're leaving because they value freedom over their geographic location.
Well, Mark, I'll tell you, I'm a business owner in California. I love my freedom. I want to keep my freedom. I've raised 4 kids out here. I want to stay in California. Mark, paint me a picture of what my state and my country is going to look like a year from now if I say yes on recalling Gavin Newsom.
I think what happens is I actually think this is important beyond California. If Gavin Newsom is recalled, it sends a signal to all would-be tyrants like Gavin Newsom, all would-be hypocrite tyrants like him, that people will say enough is enough. I think it sends a message in Michigan to Governor Whitmer. I think it sends a message in Pennsylvania to Governor Wolf, the places where these tyrants, they look at what your governor can get away with, what Newsom can get away with, and they take a sign from that, and they say, if he can do it, I can do it. And so if he gets pushed back on, if he's unceremoniously removed from office, as I believe he should be, then what happens is I think it helps the pushback begin all over the country. So, I'm not predicting anything, but I'm hopeful for all the good things that can come out of it if he is indeed removed from office.
I get it. I hear that hope. All right. So there's a Mary and a Joe listening out there today, Mike and Mark. And so there's this Mary and Joe that's out there listening, and they're working their butts off. They've got a couple of jobs. They're providing for their families. One of their jobs closed up. They've had to find another job. They are just in the rat race. They don't know whether to vote yes or no. They hear this, they hear that. What would you speak to Mary and Joe and their family if you gave them a call to action?
Yeah, I would say that no matter how busy you are, no matter how crazy your life is, and I understand that. I've been through all these phases of life, and I understand it's hard to pay attention, but just look around you and ask yourself if things are going well in California right now. And I think you'll see that they're not. People are unhappy, massive amounts of people leaving the state. One of the things that horrifies me is the incredible wealth transfer from middle-class and poor people to extremely wealthy people in California and all across the country. Walmart didn't close down. Costco didn't close down. It was the small businesses that got tortured and are being tortured the worst by Gavin Newsom. So the question is, look around and say, is it the way I want it to be? Is California really the golden state? And if not, it seems like a simple thing to say, but I would say take a risk on something else. Try something new. Do something different, because what you're doing is not working right now. Your kids, your grandkids are going to look back and they're going to ask, what did you do? And if you say, I just maintain the status quo because, I don't know, I didn't know if anything would be better, I don't think that's a good enough answer for your posterity.
So what I'm getting is to say yes to recall Gavin Newsom is my currency. It's my currency. It's my opportunity. It's my freedom. It's my power back. It's the future of my children. It's the future of the generations to come.
Yeah, and even, look, I don't know what happens. I can't predict. Nobody can predict the outcome of the recall. The only thing that we have control over is what we do, right? So we got to look to ourselves. I always say there are 3 things you can do that you have absolute control over: who you trust, what you do, and what your attitude is about what happens. Our attitude, for me as a Christian, is always one of being a warrior. I'm in the fight no matter what. God controls the outcome. I have a duty to do the work. The outcome belongs to God. Who I trust, I trust God. I trust the people close to me. I don't trust Gavin Newsom. I don't trust politicians generally. And then there's my attitude about what happens. Again, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm going to maintain my positive outlook, whatever it is, that I'm in the fight. I'm in it for the long haul. I know this how the story ends in the real story because I'm a believer. But beyond that, we control that attitude. So no matter what happens, don't get discouraged, I would say.
I love it. It's who you trust, what you do, and what your attitude is. So last question for you, Mark. September 14th is the date, but should I wait to September 14th to cast my vote?
No, absolutely not. You should cast it as soon as you possibly can. And there's multiple reasons for that. Momentum matters in this race. And people are going to start talking about how many ballots have been turned in and are they Republican, are they Democrat? And people to vote if they see the totals going the wrong way, in their opinion. So that's one. Number two, you never know what happens on the last day. Maybe you get sick. Maybe you have to work on a day when you didn't expect to have to work. Maybe your kids need your help. And then you don't vote and your vote isn't counted. So, man, vote now. There is no time like the present.
I got it. Vote now. Vote yes. Recall Gavin Newsom. You heard it. Mark Meckler, what an honor to have you today. Have a great show today on the Mark Meckler Show. I'm honored to have you. We're going to have you back again. We are going to be back next week as well. So you guys hang tight. We're going to be back in just a minute. We've got a little bit of an announcement because we're not going anywhere. We're back. We are back until Gavin Newsom is recalled. We'll see you in just a few. Thank you, Mark Meckler. And welcome back to KCAA Radio, live here in Redlands, California. This is your host, Kim Yater, and we are taking our power back. This is your opportunity. Take your power back, California. Recall Gavin Newsom. We've had an amazing lineup, and I'm now moving on over to my dear friend. I just love her so much. This is Dolores Williams from DW Views podcast, Stand Up. She is an absolute rock star. She is a Martin Luther King. She is a warrior woman who's willing to stand for truth. She is going to be on this segment hosting next week. You want to be here, and hopefully I'm going to be here with her. Hello, Dolores.
Hello, Kim.
Dolores, who are you?
I am a bold, unashamed, determined, godly leader.
And what are you voting?
I'm voting yes.
And the importance of you voting yes?
Is to take back California. Take back your power. Those of you who care about California, who care about America, take back your power.
You heard it. This is Kim Yater, and we are taking our power back, California. We'll see you next week, and thank you for being with us. Take action today. Go vote yes.